A very good evening. This is Primetime News coming to you live and direct from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Rochelle Tumodere.
And I'm Peruni Karunaratna. Before we head on to your stories in detail, here's a look at your top stories for tonight.
Gotabaya Rajapaksa to release book, alleges international conspiracy worked to oust him from presidency. Take the current path or risk returning to a state of distress, questions president.
අද මෙහෙම ගමන් බිමන් යන්නේ විනෝද වෙන්නේ ගෙදරින් එළියට බහින්න විදියක් නැතුව හිටපු જાතියක්. ලෙඩෙක් ඉස්පිරිතාලේ ගෙන යන්න මරණයක් සුසාන භූමියටත් ගෙන යන්න වාහනයට තෙල් ටිකක් ගහන්න බැරිව හිටපු જાතියක්.
Sri Lanka looks for debt moratorium till 2027. Why did Sri Lanka deploy a Navy ship to support US-led anti-Houthi operations? Navy commander provides explanation.
සමාජික රටවල් 41ක් තියෙනවා. ඒ අවුරුද්දේ ශ්‍රී ලංකාවත් පාර්ට්නර් සහකරුවෙක් වශයෙන් අපි එකතු වෙනවා combined maritime force.
Water cannons fired at IUSA protests in Colombo. 2 activists arrested. MP Ali Sabri Rahim suspended from Parliament for a month after gold smuggling saga.
On to your lead story this evening. Former Sri Lankan President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, in a statement today, announced that from the time he was elected president in November 2019, certain foreign and local parties were intent on removing him from power. Rajapaksa said that details of this conspiracy will be revealed in a book that will be available from tomorrow.
Former Sri Lankan President Gotabaya Rajapaksa announced the publication of his book titled The Conspiracy to Oust Me from the Presidency. Gotabaya Rajapaksa in a statement today announced that from the time he was elected president in November 2019, certain foreign and local parties were intent on removing him from power. He said that the political campaign to oust him brought in a new element into the politics of Sri Lanka, which has since independence experienced only peaceful transfers of power following elections. Rajapaksa said, as such, the events of 2022 are fraught with serious implications for the future of this country. Rajapaksa also said that foreign intervention and the manipulation of internal politics has become a fact of life in Sri Lanka in a manner never experienced in the first 60 years of independence of this country. He said what the book explains is the first-hand experience of an internationally sponsored regime change operation.
Sri Lankan President Ranil Wickremesinghe, in a special statement to the country's parliament, said that the economy, which was contracted, is now gradually recovering, leading to relief for the people. He noted that the country must decide whether to continue on the current path or to risk returning to a state of distress.
මේ ආර්ථික ප්‍රගතියේ ප්‍රතිඵල මුළු මහත් සමාජයේ
The impact of this economic progress is evident throughout society today. How many individuals embark on pilgrimages to Anuradhapura and Sripada from hand tractors to large buses? How many undertake journeys to Thalavila and Madhu Church for religious purposes? How many indulge in leisurely trips to Nuwara? How many individuals park their cars on the side of the road, open their trunks and initiate small businesses due to their inability to repay loans they obtained? And are they now experiencing a sense of freedom? How challenging is it to secure a seat on a long-distance coach? How many travellers fill the unreserved compartments? How many tourists explore every corner of the country? A nation that once struggled to leave their homes is now traversing freely. A nation that once struggled to leave their homes is now traversing freely. Previously, they couldn't afford to put a drop of oil in their car to rush a sick person to the hospital or accompany a deceased loved one to the cemetery. People face challenges such as not having gas for cooking at home, leading many to prepare meals outdoors. A nation that when a child fell ill would go from house to house in the middle of the night searching for a paracetamol pill. However, this situation has undergone a remarkable reversal. The economy, which had contracted, is now gradually recovering, leading to relief for the people. We've suspended the Parate law for business establishments and offered relief on electricity bills this week. Additionally, we aim to exempt items such as books, school equipment, health equipment and medicine from the VAT list to continue reducing the VAT rate. We are diligently strengthening the economy each day, striving tirelessly to improve the lives of our people and fortify the economy. Our actions are guided by a strategic plan, ensuring systematic and methodical approach. Some suggest retail solutions or collecting funds from Sri Lankans abroad, but these are deemed inadequate by those with economic knowledge. Currently, we must decide whether to continue on our current path, reaping the benefits of our economic trajectory, or risk returning to a state of distress.
නැතිනම් මේ මාර්ගයේ පරාදීසය කරා ගමන් ගන්නවද? මේ ගමන් මග හැර අන් ගමන් මගක් අපිට නැහැ.
The president was speaking about distress and a wine bridge. I would like to say that is it not he who is protecting the creators of this distress and hell? Is it not he who obtained the support of rogues to become the president and is now depending on those rogues? The rogues led by Rajapaksa have crossed over. I would like to ask the president what is the solution he has given to the people who are in distress. He walked into the midst of the rogues and obtained the post of president that he could never secure with votes. The incumbent president has managed to do away with the provincial council elections and the people's franchise. He has taken away the independence of the judiciary and exerted influence on the justices. Under the guise of debt restructuring, he is moving to protect the primary dealers who became millionaires and billionaires by looting the people's money. The VAT was raised to flatten the population. The people's lives are ruined. Freedom was taken away via the Online Safety Act. This has paved the way to a firm authorization. Those who crossed the bridge are none other than the Rajapaksa family and the group that led this country to bankruptcy.
Parliamentarian of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, Professor Ranjit Bandara, revealed today that it will create the broadest alliance in the history of Sri Lankan politics, which is capable of securing an unparalleled victory at any election. Speaking at a media briefing, the parliamentarian said that opposing factions fear the return of Basil Rajapaksa due to 3 reasons.
When's the election?
Hey, Basil Rajapaksa mechchara baya.
Why do they fear Basil Rajapaksa so much? It is because his agenda is unorthodox. The doctor does not panic no matter how much the patient does. That is his agenda. Leaders of certain political parties are now helpless. Another reason they fear Basil is because if he is given a task, he sees to its completion. The other reason that they fear him is his ability to foreshadow. He is not someone who looks at the handle of the bicycle when riding it. Many who did that have now fallen off the bicycle. The third reason they are intimidated is because Basil Rajapaksa is fearless. He is very transparent. He has shown his ability through action. I listed out the reasons why one should feel threatened by Basil, but I did not reveal certain instruments he has in hand to intimidate people. We will form the broadest alliance in history. We will also secure record-breaking victories at any election.
In ඕනෑම මැතිවරණයකදී ලබනවා.
When's the election?
State Minister Geeta Kumarasinghe of the SLPP responded in the following manner.
ඒ මහත්තයා ආවා කියලා ඔගොල්ලෝ උච්චර මැරෙන්න හදන්නේ මොකද? එතුමා ආවා අපි වෙල්කම් කියනවා. දේශපාලන පෙරලියක් කරනවා කියලා මොකක්ද? ඒක මගෙන් අහන්න මම බැසිල් රාජපක්ෂ මහත්තයාගේ නෝනාද? මං කොහොමද දන්නේ එතුමා කියන ඒ වගේ. ගිහිල්ලා මේ ළඟ ඉන්න බත්තරමුල ගිහිල්ලා අහන්නකෝ.
When's the election?
Former MP Ravi Karunanayake of the United National Party had this to say.
When the country was declared bankrupt 23 months ago, many people were approached to solve it. The ones who are showing themselves out to be candidates are the ones who shied away from that responsibility. Once Ranil Wickremesinghe took over the presidency and stabilized the country to an extent, they might say other things. I wish to remind everyone that we will name Ranil Wickremesinghe from our side because he provided leadership to this successfully.
අපි ඉදිරිපත් කරන්න කියන එක තමයි මතක් කරන්නේ. තියෙන පොහොට්ටුවේ බහුතරයක් ජනාධිපතිතුමාට ප්‍රායෝගිකව දෙන්න දැන් ඉදිරිපත් වෙලා දෙනවා. පැසිල් මහත්තයා කියන තීරණයක් ගනීද? ඒ පොහොට්ටුවේ තීන්දුවක් නේ.
That is the SLPP's decision. Our intention is to move forward with everyone. Our proponents and opponents. 134 votes were cast in his favour in Parliament, although he was the only UNP member in Parliament. Our hope is to progress with the support of all political parties.
පක්ෂ සහයෝග සමග ඉදිරියට යෑම තමයි අපේ බල.
When's the election?
This is the Samagijana Balavegya stance.
The founder of the SLPP has returned. Basil has left his properties behind in the US and has returned to look after his wealth here. There is a cold war between the president and the SLPP. Will the presidential election be held first, or will it be a general election? One faction of the SLPP is with the president, the other is with the Rajapaksas. There is another group who is sitting in the opposition. We want to see how the tussle between Basil and Mahinda's group versus Ranil and Basil's B team will end.
Basil Mahathayage B team එකයි අතර තරඟය කොහොමද අවසන් වෙන්නේ කියන එකයි අපිට වැදගත්.
The police fired water cannons to disperse a protest organized by the Inter-University Students' Federation in Punchiborala. During the protest, convener of the IUSF Madhushan Chandrajit and one other student activist were arrested.
They are trying to completely destroy our education by bringing in the National Education Policy Framework. And when we come to the streets to ask for answers to these questions, this is how Ranil Wickramasinghe treats us.
Thereafter, the students protested opposite the Colombo National Hospital. The students who protested for several hours in front of the Colombo National Hospital later dispersed.
Saman Ratnayaka, Additional Secretary of the Ministry of Health, provided a confidential statement to the Maligakhanda magistrate.
The Additional Secretary of the Ministry of Health provided a confidential in-camera statement to the Maligakhanda magistrate. The statement, which lasted for 4 hours, pertains to the controversial human immunoglobulin drug procurement currently under investigation. Ratnayaka, who has been in custody, was escorted to court on the 4th to deliver his secret testimony. However, he was subsequently returned to the Mahara prison after approximately half an hour. The Additional Secretary of the Ministry of Health, Dr. Saman Ratnayaka, has been remanded until the 14th in connection with the ongoing investigation.
Sri Lanka's Navy Commander Vice Admiral Priyantha Perera announced that the Sri Lanka Navy played a role in the operations conducted by the US-led joint forces against the Houthi rebels. For a duration of 22 days, the Sri Lanka Navy contributed to the operation. However, was not directly engaged in the Red Sea operation specifically targeting the Houthi rebels.
Houthi rebels, who control large swathes of Yemen, have launched missile attacks on vessels passing through the Red Sea, demanding an end to the Israeli attacks on Palestine. Their main targets are commercial ships linked to the United States and Israel, and the Houthis carry out these attacks using drones and missiles. The US-led Operation Prosperity Guardian was launched to counter these attacks, and it is already underway and covers a wider area than just the Red Sea, encompassing the Arabian Sea and the Gulf of Oman. Sri Lanka's president announced that the Sri Lankan Navy would participate in international efforts to maintain security and stability in the Gulf region of the Indian Ocean. As part of this commitment, the Navy dispatched the Sri Lankan Navy ship Gajabahu on the 7th of last month. The Navy commander said that SLNS Gajabahu was assigned to patrol the Gulf region, and several modifications to cater to the mission were also underway. Named SLNS Gajabahu, with pennant number P626, the 115.2-meter-long vessel is a high-endurance cutter, formerly known as the USCGC Sherman, a Coast Guard cutter gifted by the United States. While the ship lacks air defences or specialised anti-sea attack devices, the Gajabahu did not venture into this high-risk zone. SLNS Gajabahu returned to Sri Lanka on the 25th of last month.
It was not done in secret, but such missions require being covert in nature. Sri As this did not only affect our territorial waters, we have a commitment if we are capable to support.
Law of the Sea Convention.
We are party to the Law of the Sea Convention. Before this situation arose, the combined maritime forces led by the US with 41 members and support nations was in operation. In 2011, when threats from Somali pirates intensified, the combined maritime forces were activated and vessels were deployed. There are 5 combined maritime forces. The operation in the Red Sea is by Combined Maritime Force 153. Then we have Combined Maritime Forces 150 for the security of the Indian Ocean. Sri Lanka joined as a partner state for the Combined Maritime Forces last year.
Sri Lanka partner Combined Maritime Force.
The Navy commander also commented on the expenditure.
This is not the first time we spent like this. The Navy cannot keep the seas vulnerable and be anchored at harbour. The government will have to bear the cost of national security. No additional expense was incurred.
The second Indo-Pacific Regional Information Sharing Steering Committee meeting was held in Colombo.
The second Indo-Pacific Regional Information Sharing Steering Committee meeting commenced in Colombo yesterday. The event was graced by Commander of the Navy, Vice Admiral Priyantha Pereira, as the chief guest. More than 130 officials and representatives from over 56 agencies and authorities across the Indo-Pacific region, together with other regional actors, convened at the 3-day IORIS Steering Committee meeting. The meeting is co-chaired by Sri Lanka Navy and Crimario too. Through this effort, it is expected to consolidate and enhance the governance of IORIS, the Indo-Pacific Regional Information Sharing Platform, designed to facilitate coordination and exchange of information to respond effectively to maritime security threats and support sustainable fisheries. Central to the discussion will be the enhancement of the IORIS role in enabling command, control and communication, data storage policy and the accountability of users, with the ultimate goal of strengthening cooperation for more safe and secure seas.
Residents of Manau voiced their objection to a team that arrived to conduct soil tests for a wind power generation project.
A team that travelled to the Olai Thodavai Balanagar area in the Manau district was met with heavy resistance from locals today. The team had arrived in the area to conduct a soil test to construct a tower as part of the second phase of a wind farm project. Meanwhile, a team led by Reverend Father S. Marcus, leader of the Manau Citizens Committee, submitted documents to the Manau Divisional Secretariat today. The documents contain the views of local residents regarding the wind power project and a record of signatures opposing the project. An activist group calling themselves the Environment Centre protested opposite the Central Environment Authority.
The Environment Centre protested opposite the Central Environment Authority, citing threats posed to nature by the proposed wind power project in Mannar. They noted that the project would pose a negative impact on endemic bird species and the environment as a whole.
The controversy surrounding Sri Lankan and Indian fishermen remains unresolved. 20 Indian fishermen who were apprehended and released by the Sri Lankan Navy on charges of fishing in the Sea of Sri Lanka reached Chennai this morning.
23 fishermen from Tamil Nadu were apprehended by the Sri Lankan Navy in the Deft region on the 4th of last month. Thereafter, 20 of them were released, 2 were sentenced to 6 months in prison, and 1 other fisherman who was noted have engaged in fishing beyond the border for the second time was sentenced to 1 year in prison. The 20 Indian fishermen who were apprehended and released reached Chennai today.
Indian Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman and Minister of Fisheries met and demanded a permanent solution to this problem. The solution will be brought forward soon. According to the new law, fishermen who are apprehended for the second time have been told that the initial prison sentence will be applied and the third time it will be 2 years. That law should be repealed. As usual, we have requested the fishermen to have the right to fish with mutual rights of both countries. The Kachetivu island, which was the border of Tamil Nadu, was given to Sri Lanka in 1974 through a treaty. Who made the mistake? Should the state government and central government work together or not? The reason for the damage caused to us fishermen is because of the mistake they made. The cause of these problems in the coastal region is the DMK government. There are several problems caused because of the transfer of Kachetivu to Sri Lanka.
A group of small and medium-scale entrepreneurs protested opposite the Habaradua Divisional Secretariat today.
A group of small and medium-scale entrepreneurs protested opposite the Habaradua Divisional Secretariat, claiming unjust treatment by the government towards them. Before the protest was launched opposite the Habaradua Divisional Secretariat, the protesters engaged in discussions with the officials. The protest was then launched opposite the premises as these discussions did not meet their requirements.
There are a few problems that have come up in the tourism sector. The government officials are not concerned about us, small and medium-scaled entrepreneurs. Tourists have come to the country and started their businesses. They are taking the foreign exchange of the country away. Therefore, these businesses have to shut down.
The protesters emphasized on the illegal businesses carried out by foreigners being swept under the carpet and treatment towards local entrepreneurs being unacceptable.
Newsfirst with the people.
Sri Lankan President Ranil Wickremesinghe announced that the government's goal is to obtain temporary relief from debt defaults from 2023 to 2027.
In a statement to Parliament, President Ranil Wickremesinghe announced the government's active involvement in negotiations aimed at restructuring all loans, both domestic and foreign.
Currently, we are actively engaged in discussions regarding the restructuring of all loans, including domestic and foreign loans. We are optimistic that these negotiations will reach a successful resolution soon. Our goal is to obtain temporary relief from debt defaults from 2023 to 2027. Subsequently, we plan to diligently work towards repaying the loans in the period from 2027 to 2042. Sri Lanka faces a significant burden of debt. By 2022, the country was slated to repay approximately $6 billion in foreign debt annually, amounting to about 9.5% of the GDP, a considerable strain for any nation. Through successful negotiations for debt restructuring, we aim to alleviate this burden by reducing the annual foreign debt payments to 4.5% of the GDP, a substantial halving of the previous percentage. If the current trend of economic growth as observed in 2022 and 2023 persists, we anticipate maintaining a high percentage of state income. In such a scenario, servicing the debt would no longer pose a burden to the country.
The controversial situation surrounding the increase in salaries of the employees of the central bank was discussed in Parliament today. The debate took place while the President was in the chambers.
Honourable Speaker, my question is what were the basic salaries and net salaries of different grades of employees at the central bank? How much of a salary increase has been granted for employees of the central bank? Thereby, what percentage has the basic salary and the net salary of different grades of employees at the CBSL been increased by? Can the recommendations on which this salary increment was based on be tabled in this chamber? If not, what is the reason for it? I would like to submit the details in response to your queries. I am presenting this to the people. This is a lengthy description here, according to their position. Do you want to know the value? Can't you read? The value has been presented to the country openly. The net salary is 188,827 and 33 cents for the lowest grade of employees. That is an increase of 29.53%. Office assistant third grade from 49,000 rupees to 223,763 rupees. Management assistant grade 4, 101,000 rupees to 347,820 rupees. That is an increase of 89%. Staff officer grade 3, 307,510 after the increase is 893,000. Staff officer grade 4, 358,000 rupees and after the increase is 1,490,430. That is an increase of 73%. Staff office deputy governor 384,000 rupees. After the increase 1,728,419. That is an increase of 76%. The salary increment will be in effect for 3 years from 2024 to 2026. There will be no interim amendments to the salaries until the end of the 3 years. It has been increased by 70% after adding the payee tax. If employees at other state institutions ask for a salary increment in a manner which their payee tax is also covered, by how much would the recurring expenses of the state increase? That is where the injustice is. The Committee on Public Finance met and discussed this matter. Will you be giving us a report on that? Yes, we will be presenting a report. Then, if you were satisfied by the report prepared by this committee, there is no point in causing a scene here. You can speak about it after the report is presented.
Honourable President, we heard that you had summoned officials of the central bank to the cabinet and berated them. I don't know if this is true or not. This was discussed in Parliament yesterday. At a time when it is clear that the independence given to the central bank is being misused like this, do you now think that this independence should be limited to some extent and that certain amendments need to be made to achieve this?
Independence has not only been given there. Even the stock exchange has been given independence. You know how people earned money in the stock market. There is no point in asking me. Ask Dr. Harsha De Silva.
They have come forward through collective agreements. But yesterday we sternly pointed out to the governor that although they have the right to do this, where is the morality in what was done? He directly asked me as to if granting a salary increase was wrong, or if the amount of the salary increment granted is wrong. I directly told him that the amount of the salary increase is wrong. The issue is if this parliament has a say in the way that the central bank manages its expenses, because that money belongs to this parliament.
Why are we fighting in parliament over their salary increments? If Harsha De Silva has the power, ask him to do it.
Member of Parliament Ali Sabri Rahim has been barred from parliamentary proceedings for duration of 1 month. The decision was handed down by the Privileges Committee, which convened to address a matter that had caused insult to the Sri Lankan Parliament. The incident in question pertains to Ali Sabri Rahim's alleged illegal importation of a stock of gold biscuits valued at over 70 million rupees and also mobile phones into Sri Lanka.
නිර්දේශ අනුව පාර්ලිමේන්තු මන්ත්‍රී ගරුව අලි සබ්රි රහීම් මහතාගේ පාර්ලිමේන්තු සේවය අද දින එනම් 2024 මාර්තු මාස 6 වන දින සිට මාසයක කාලයක් සඳහා අත්විඳ යුතු බව මෙම පාර්ලිමේන්තුව යෝජනා කරයි. සභාව එකඟද? ආයි.
We'll be now heading on to a short commercial break. Stay tuned with News First.
Sirasa turns 30, a harmony of 30 voices. Embark on a musical journey like never before. Join us for the live recording of this extraordinary event airing on Sirasa TV at 10:30 p.m. on Friday. Be there to witness the magic at the Davindra Mendis Grounds, Katunayaka.
Sirasa FM live show.
Welcome back to the news. Now, 3 more officials involved in the incident at the Nawalapitiya railway station, where 2 foreign tourists were reportedly assaulted, have been interdicted. A total of 6 officials have now been interdicted in connection to this incident.
HMK Bandara, the general manager of Sri Lanka Railways, said that the 2 officers in charge of the security of the train and the duty officer have been interdicted. He added that a comprehensive investigation is underway regarding the incident. 2 British nationals who were travelling on the Podimanika train from Colombo to Badulla found themselves embroiled in this incident yesterday. They had started their journey from the Kandy railway station. Upon investigation, Railway Superintendent MJ Idipola revealed that the duo had been removed from the train, citing that despite holding third-class tickets, they had occupied seats in the first-class compartment. Meanwhile, the Railway Station Masters Association convened a media briefing and explained the details of the incident. It was also confirmed that a railway guard had instructed the foreign passengers to disembark. Despite these instructions, the 2 foreigners had refused to vacate the train compartment, and as a result, they were removed from the train.
When the tourists refused to follow the instructions given to them, using his minimum power as the station master, the tourists had to be removed from the compartment. However, no attack had been made on them. Still, we are against the fact that action had been taken by the department without investigating this matter. No steps have been taken against those who had neglected their responsibilities. Ticket checkers should be deployed inside trains. In situations where there aren't many railway controllers, the department hands all these responsibilities to those people once again.
Women representatives of the Jatika Jana Balawega convened a media briefing in Colombo.
Unlike in other years, Sri Lankan women today are highly mobilized, politically active, politically aware. And we are very confident that this year when we celebrate International Women's Day, we will be celebrating it in its true meaning, as a celebration and a remembrance of the historical struggles that women have been part of globally, historically, in order to secure our rights, in order to secure our futures. International Women's Day doesn't have a very good history in Sri Lanka. We know the way that the then government and successive governments have treated women, have used violence against women, and have denied women of some of their basic rights. But today, what we are celebrating today and what we intend to celebrate on the 8th of March is the huge increase and a huge awareness among women about the need to be organized, about the need to be politically mobilized. And we see that as an extremely positive trend, as an extremely positive shift in the way Sri Lankan women are beginning to think about politics and about their own role in politics.
The Chamber of Young Lankan Entrepreneurs, or COIL, successfully concluded a 3-day workshop program today.
The workshop was conducted on all 3 days by Professor Boris Groisberg, a distinguished faculty member of the Harvard Business School.
Professor Boris Groisberg, a master of turning theory into actionable strategies. Now bringing attention to all the aspiring leaders and business mavericks, a 3-day intensive program to elevate your business insights and self-worth, featuring the renowned Harvard professor Boris Groisberg, comes to an end today.
The intensive program attracted a diverse group of Sri Lankan business leaders and entrepreneurs eager to elevate their leadership skills and strategic thinking. Over the past 3 days, participants engaged in insightful sessions on topics critical to navigating today's dynamic business landscape.
What inspired me most in these sessions was that you find a lot of deliveries and trainings that you go to. But in the case of Professor Boris, how he delivered the whole sessions, including cases and the way he articulated his message, I think it was, to me, it was out of this world.
In Sri Lanka last year, we had a lot of brain drain, and especially in the hospitality sector where we lost a lot of talented people. So today's session focused on how to motivate your people, how to identify your key individuals, and how to build that strong team culture and to grow as individuals as well as an organization.
The thing that came first for both of us was the focus and the saying no. I think that's things that you often get into the weeds of things and it's really hard to step out. So I think giving us the chance to really rethink those things. So I think there was many things, but I think that the focus, really focusing in on a couple of things, that's what I've taken away the most, I'd say.
The workshop program included interactive lectures, discussions and case studies, allowing participants to delve deeper into the complexities of leadership and explore practical solutions to real-world challenges.
Taking a look at your news overseas, both President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump picked up a large number of delegates in their dominating wins on Super Tuesday.
Now, more than a dozen states held primaries or caucuses, the biggest day of the nominating races so far as the 2024 presidential campaign accelerates. Former United Nations Ambassador Nikki Haley denied Donald Trump a clean sweep of the night's Republican primaries with her victory in moderate-leaning Vermont. Super Tuesday, the biggest primary day of the year, handed wins to former President Donald Trump, who defeated former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley in Republican primaries across the country. President Joe Biden jumped to quick wins in Texas, Virginia and North Carolina. He was also projected the winner of Minnesota, the home state of his main primary challenger, Dean Phillips. Both Biden and Trump crossed the halfway point in the race to become their party's nominees. Biden has 994 delegates, with 1,968 needed for the Democratic nomination. Trump has 715 delegates, with 1,215 needed for the Republican nomination. Taking a look at your sports news, the second T20 international between Bangladesh and Sri Lanka ended in favour of the hosts a short while ago. Batting first, Sri Lanka posted a total of 165 for the loss of 5 wickets. After winning the toss and opting to bowl first, the hosts managed to breach Sri Lanka's defences early when opener Avishkar Fernando was dismissed for a duck. Kusal Mendes and Kamindu Mendes later steadied the Sri Lankan innings, but none of the Sri Lankan batsmen were able to get going and post a convincing score. Eventually, Sri Lanka ended their innings on 165 runs for the loss of 5 wickets. In reply, the hosts made easy work of the target, securing victory with 11 balls to spare. Skipper Namjul Hossain Shanto top scored for Bangladesh with an unbeaten 53.
An important breakthrough. Sri Lanka badly needed.
Got away from that fielder. He's timed it well. Short of 3 runs. Oh, shot. It's gone all the way. Yeah, he is a very clean hitter of the cricket ball. And that's gone the distance. 164 for 2. Chanaka on 47 and he's whipped that away. And he's picked up a set of 50 and the winning runs. Bangladesh going to win by 8 wickets. It's a thumping victory to level the series. It's hitting that ball.
Up next is Big Match Fever.
The historic Royal Thomian Battle of the Blues will commence for the 145th year at the SSC in Colombo tomorrow, the 7th of March. Commenced in 1879, the annual cricket encounter between Royal College Colombo and St. Thomas's College Mount Lavinia is the second longest uninterrupted schools cricket match in the world. This year, the Thomians are being led by Mahit Pereira, who is their top run scorer with over 700 runs and 3 centuries under his belt.
We have done so far well in the season. We have had 16 matches and we have won 4 outright wins and with 5 first innings wins. The boys have been working really hard for the past 6 to 8 months. We had a good one-day season as well. We came to quarterfinals and we met the Royal College. Unfortunately, we couldn't make it through. Coming to the Battle of the Blues, I think preparation has been really good so far. And we are looking forward to give a good game on the 7th, 8th and 9th.
The two teams will battle it out to etch their name on the prestigious DS Senanayake Challenge Shield. Royal College are the current holders of the shield after securing victory at last year's encounter. The Thomians last won the big match in 2019 and will be intent to bring the shield back to Mount Lavinia this year.
And that is a wrap of this Wednesday's edition of Primetime News on TV1. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Teruni Karunaratna.
And I'm Rochelle Tumolura. Thank you for watching. Good night.